welcome to this edition of News Desk with me, Bernice Abubeidulansa. Coming up, strict COVID-19 measures rolled out as Parliament's Appointments Committee begins vetting of President Akufo-Addo's ministerial nominees this morning. And scores of migrants from Nigeria who managed to enter Ghana through illegal routes arrested by the Ghana Immigration Service. And in business, Ghana ranked 4th among 5 sub-Saharan African middle-income countries with the highest prices of consumer goods. We've got details of these and more right here on News Desk. Do stay with us. Thank you so much for joining me for this edition of News Desk. We are streaming live on DSTV channel 421, Go TV channel 144 on your digital TV, because we are free to air and around the world at myjoyonline.com. Well, Parliament Appointments Committee is expected to begin the vetting of President Akufo-Addo's ministerial nominees any time from now, with strict COVID-19 protocols introduced to curb the spread of COVID-19. As part of the measures, only 4 persons will be allowed to accompany the nominee, whilst all media personnel wishing to cover the event, well, have been told to do so from their offices, because state broadcaster GBC will provide the feed to us. Well, my colleague Kwesi Parker-Wilson, who is covering Parliament, will join us shortly with details of the measures. But first, let's listen to Chairman of the Public Accounts Committee, Joseph Osei-Wusu, speaking about the measures put in place to prevent the spread of coronavirus.
I know that the handing over notes were brought to the immediate past speaker.
What was this?
Before he left office, and he declined to take them, saying that since he has not been elected, he has no authority. After that, it was sent to the new speaker's office. He was not ready to receive them. So at the time the complaint was made, actually, the handing over notes were here, except that leadership, the Office of Parliament, were not ready to receive them. I know that as a fact.
But the members said they need it. They want to interrogate, because considering the fact that almost about 90% of the nominees were already ministers under the Akufo-Addo 1 administration and would have been reappointed into the Akufo-Addo 2 administration. Obviously, they want to know their track record and ask them questions.
Handing over notes to members of Parliament? Is that the law? The Administrator General hands them over. He has. Under the law, the outgoing minister hands them over to the Administrator General, right, who hands them over to Mr. Speaker. He will hold them until the new minister comes, then hand them over. I'm not aware that that has to be tabled before Parliament.
Because Mahama Yaga, a member of your committee, the appointment committee, not Parliament, but the appointment committee, cited a portion of the Constitution where the handing over note must be given to the members of the appointment committee to peruse them. Really? In order to, I'm looking for that portion of the Constitution that he cited.
I'll be very glad
for you. He says that the committee cannot do a thorough job if they are not finished, if they don't finish down with the copies of the handing over note, citing Section 2 of the Presidential Transition Act 845, which stipulates that the Administrator General shall make copies of the handing over notes and present same to some state institutions, including Parliament. Yes, and that is what the Constitution says.
I've told you that he has brought it to Parliament.
Yes.
But when it comes to Parliament, it should be distributed to members. I'm not aware of that. This is my 4th time at the Appointments Committee.
Sure.
It has never been the case that handing over notes of the ministry or an agency is supplied to the members of the committee. Through your own ingenuity, if you need information from the ministry, you can use your own ingenuity to ask and procure the information for the purposes of vetting a nominee. But certainly it has never been a requirement that a member of Parliament or a member of the Appointments Committee should be supplied with copies of the handing over notes. Handing over is from one minister to the other,
right?
One government to the other.
That's correct.
I can see how it's a requirement that Appointments committee members must have copies.
But with such a petition from a member, is this something you want to consider? That's the question I was asking.
There's no such petition before me.
Mahama Yaga hasn't called you to say anything like this to you?
No.
But if it does, would you consider?
I would want to see my authority. The rule of law says whatever you do, you must be authorized by the law, all the rules, all the practice. I don't have any such law backing by practice. I've never seen that in this house.
So just a quick one there. You heard Joseph Osei-Wusu. He is chairman of the Public Accounts Committee, rather speaking about concerns raised by Mahama Yariga over his inability to access the handing over notes of some ministers, especially those we are expecting to be vetted today. And he's raised concerns about that in the media. He served notice that he will not be voting a yes for these ministers designate who are going to appear today. That's Albert Kandapaa. We'll be taking his profile shortly. He's minister designate for national security. So there you have it. Albert Kandapaa is a chartered accountant by profession. He studied accountancy at the University of Professional Studies, UPS at that time, now UPSA. In fact, then it was the IPS. And had further accountancy courses at the Northeast London Polytechnic London and the Emil Wolf College of Accountancy. He was the head of audit at the Social Security and National Insurance Trust (SNIT) from January 1987, and in September 1987 he joined the Electricity Corporation of Ghana, where he rose from Director of Audit to become Director for Finance, a position he held for 6 years. He was Minister of Energy in the Kufuor government. And during the April 2003 cabinet reshuffle, he became Minister for Communications and Technology and was made Minister for Interior during Kufuor's second term. Now, he was appointed National Security Minister by President Akufo-Addo in 2017 and has been renominated to serve in that same capacity again. And prior to the president setting up this ministry, what we already knew to cover this was there was the National Security Secretariat, then there was the Interior Minister and the Defense Minister. This was one of the new ministries that was created, and well, there have been a lot of reactions to his first tenure. He was hit by a near scandal. We know all that. But let me just bring you another profile of a person we expect to appear today. That's Kweku Agyeman-Manu. He is Health Minister Designate, and he is a Member of Parliament for Droma Central, and he's a Chartered Management Accountant and obtained a Bachelor of Arts in Economics and Statistics from the University of Ghana in 1989. He also graduated with, well, sorry, that skipped too fast. He was the acting CEO of the National Health Authority in 2006 and also the Deputy Minister of Finance and Economic Planning under former President Kufuor's administration, 2001 to 2008. He served as chairman for the Joint United Nations Programme on HIV/AIDS, headquartered in Geneva. In May 2017, President Akufo-Addo named Kweku Agyeman-Manu as Minister Designate for Health. He was approved by then Parliament and has served in that capacity until his renomination by President Akufo-Addo earlier this year to remain in that capacity. Well, Kwesi Parker-Wilson, who is in Parliament for us, joins us. Kwesi, tell us some measures were put in place by Parliament to ensure that coronavirus will not be spread at these sit-ins. Are those measures in place?
Yes, if I welcome to Parliament, Venice, the place is extremely quiet. If you've ever been to Parliament before, you realize that it's a busy place. In fact, the car park is sometimes very full today. Very, I mean, you don't even see vehicles parked there. Now, I made my way to the vetting room, but then I was instructed by the security to step out because the media is not allowed in. So I'm currently in front of the building. I see the Veronica Bucket, and as the head of public affairs for Parliament mentioned yesterday, that's Peter Doe, that the protocols would be observed. The minority leader or the leader of the NDC caucus, Haruna Iddrisu, a while ago, just entered together with the whip of the House and some NDC members as well. But already some MPP members are seated. They are yet to start, but we are told that the nominees are on their way and very soon will be here, and then the vetting will commence. But already, before the NDC actually entered the vetting room, they held the meeting. Now, the meeting was essentially to look at the petitions that have come up so far. Now, yesterday when I spoke to the chairman of the committee, he described some of the petitions as funny. But for the NDC, we are told that they are going to consider every single petition that has come in against the approval of the nominees. And so this morning, we'll see some of them, specifically with regard to the minister responsible for health, or the health minister designate, and that of the national security minister designate. So that is the that is majority leader. And that's the majority leader here. Honorable, thank you very much. So that's the majority leader there. He just stepped down, and he just stepped down. I wanted to get a word with him, but of course, he's declined to that. And so, Dennis, as I mentioned, at the meeting we are told that, the meeting we are told I will start just about 10 to 15 minutes. And so the ministers, we are waiting for them. The minister designate, we are waiting for them to come so that the committee started their work. But I mentioned the petition. I have with me Asepa, Minister Thompson. He's one of the petitioners. Let me get his quick response on the comments made by the chairman of the committee that some of the petition is funny. Mr. Minister Thompson, thank you very much for your time. Now, let me find out from you this morning. What do you make of the comment made by the chairman of the appointment committee, sir?
I think it's a bit unfortunate. I've had the opportunity to brief the NDC caucus on the petition and the issues that we've raised and a number of things, and they consider a number of the issues that we've raised and the number of the petitions that have also come to them very, very crucial. And that is why you saw the leader of the NDC caucus carrying all the petitions to the appointment committee sitting, and they are not joking with it from the indication that I got. Now, I think that the comments made by the first Deputy Speaker of Parliament, who is the chairman of the appointment committee, is very, very unfortunate. And I think it prejudices his position as chairman of the appointment committee. There's a reason why the standing orders of Parliament makes the chairman of the appointment committee a neutral position. That is, they don't have an original vote. They don't even vote on issues. And so it means they are supposed to be neutral, maintain a high level of neutrality in discourse. Per his position as the chairman, he is supposed to look into this petition and ensure that all the relevant actions must be taken or would be taken on those petitions. So for him to come out and call them funny is very, very unacceptable. And I think it prejudices his position as chairman of the appointments committee, and probably he should recuse himself from the committee.
But the point he makes is that he's listened to, he's read all the petitions, and they are basically on personal scores. It doesn't talk about the work of the minister or the conduct of the said nominee, and so people are just in to set up personal scores with the nominee.
So he independently, as chairman of the committee, without consulting the other members, dismissing the petitions? Is that what he's seeking to do? It is not within his right to call a petition funny or to cast a verdict on a petition. Petition, however irrelevant, must be looked into for a prima facie case to be established against the nominees. So if you haven't done that, and you sit in your office and you call the petitions funny, I think what you are doing is you are prejudicing the whole parliamentary process. It's unacceptable.
So you want him to accuse himself?
Yes, he's prejudicing himself. He's prejudicing himself. He's called the petitions funny. So now what action? It means he's not going to take any action. Is he going to take action against funny things on the committee? Is that what the chairman is saying? So clearly he's prejudicing his position as chairman of the committee. This is outrageous. Very, very unacceptable.
Well, thank you very much. So a separate petition against the nominee of Minister.
Hi, Chrissy. Sorry to cut in, but I'd like to know what exactly the issues are which are raised in the petition.
1 hour.
Okay, so for Asepa, for example, he raised concerns about the minister designate for finance, that is Ken Oforiatta, and he cited him, or allegedly made some comments regarding the PDS scandal and also the Ejapa deal. He believes that the minister was neck deep in that agreement, which was a bit scandalous in his words. And as a matter of fact, it should be grounds for his disapproval. Also, there were petitions against the Dambuche, the minister designate for local government, and also Howard Kumsin as well. And for Howard Kumsin is being about the firing of gunshots, and Dambuche about the creation of the new regions. And this is particularly from the people of South, the Santrofield, Likwe, and Akpafu area. So these are some of the petitions that I've seen myself personally, which are coming. But of course, the chairman of the appointment committee described them as funny. They don't merit any of the attention, and as a matter of fact, they wouldn't consolidate at all or wouldn't come up. But if there's the need, in fact, one thing he said was about the Howard Kumsin, that for her, there's a possibility that they'll look into the matter, that will investigate the circumstances under which she fired the gunshot. If there's anything contrary to what they have, then probably it might be grounds for her disapproval. But it doesn't end there. When the members of the committee kick against the approval, of course, the matter will be referred to the members of the House, the committee of the whole. And if they overturn, go through, but in the appointment committee, what it means is that the president would be forced to make new appointment to various ministries as well.
Education Minister designate may also appear. Do we know why?
Well, that's correct, Dennis. It's because of the surge in COVID-19 cases recorded in schools, senior high schools, and also the junior high schools as well. So the committee found it necessary to vet the minister so that at least he can quickly take over the ministry and put in measures to contain the spread of the virus. And that is why they have decided to include the education minister designates in today's vetting. Ideally, in fact, they advertise for two nominees, that is the health minister and that of the national security minister, so Kandapa and also Kweku Ajiman-Menu. But as it stands, they are going to include Yao Odichum, Dr. Odichum, as the minister designate for education.
And do we know the order in which they appear and why the appointment committee decided to vet the national security minister designate and the health minister designate first?
So, Dennis, we are not in normal times, as we say, because of COVID-19. We need a substantive minister as a country to quickly put in measures in place to contain the spread of the virus. Already, Parliament is on suspension because of the increasing cases recorded here. So, the committee, upon deliberation among themselves, the members and government, decided that the first person to vet should be the health minister, so that they can quickly get done with him, get the approval, and then it gets to work. Secondly, is about security. Security is very important. And if you look at the role of Kandaba, for example, and on the back of the RMB cases and some of the crime rates we have seen over the weeks gone by, it is also important that they vet Kandapa to ensure and maintain security, because as the overall boss, he has to make sure that the right policy decisions are taken to ensure that at least they manage the situation. They manage the situation here in the country. And as I mentioned earlier, with the education minister too as well. And so these were the reasons they considered that before scheduling these ministers to appear before them for vetting.